запутались. Там-то я без шапочки буду в космосе.
This is the second fit check, so you can see that the shroud is now in place, and the vehicle's essentially ready to be put on top of the booster. And so this is so exciting to see the vehicle just about ready to fly. There is an American flag painted on the side along with the Russian flag, so it's such a privilege to be looking at the rocket that we're going to be flying into space. It's a little bit different inside too. We have all of the cargo that we're going to be taking with us, a lot of our personal items, our flight suit, medications, some food for the trip. All of that is now stored inside, mostly in the BAO, in the habitation module. And so it's stacked on top of kind of a bench in there, up chest high, and it's pretty amazing to see everything in there ready to fly now.
So is the vehicle ready for the flight?
Yeah, the vehicle is ready to go. So it's going to get integrated with the booster here in a few days. And then guests of the launch are going to get to watch the vehicle get loaded onto a train car and roll out from the hangar and go to the launch site and get put onto the launch platform. So, I mean, it's amazing, kind of surreal to see it ready to fly now. Well, number one, it's hot here, so it's gotten up to 120 Fahrenheit. And so it's a little bit warm, but you know what? It's so exciting to be out here. This is a place where Yuri Gagarin launched from. We're going to get to launch from the same platform. There's just kind of this anticipation in the air, and I'm just so excited that they get to be a part of it.
What are the main? The last question. What are the main activities inside the vehicle during the four-orbit rendezvous?
During four-orbit rendezvous, well, first, of course. Our main goal is just to get into a good, safe orbit. And so once that's done, there are a number of other orbital maneuvers that we'll do to catch up to the space station, and we do that over the course of 4 orbits, and that takes about 6 hours. During that time, we'll have the opportunity to get out of our acceleration couches, come into the BAO, get a little something to drink, use the restroom if we need to, and then we'll get back into our couches during the docking period. We'll still have our pressure suits on because it's still a dynamic phase of flight. But after we dock, we'll start to pressurize and equalize pressure between the hatches, and then we're really looking forward to seeing the crew on orbit.
Thank you, Joe, very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you from NASA.
Эти маленькие двигатели.
Это рулевые машины, да, это рулевые, вот эти маленькие, да. А это сопла, один двигатель, 4 сопла.
Космонавта Юрия Алексеевича Гагарина до экипажа, который сейчас готовится к полету, все бывают у нас в музее. Люди здесь были очень творческие, люди необычные, писали песни. Вот этот манекен Иван Иванович, это примерочное изделие, которое находилось в Нике, куда...
Где у нас иллюминатор, с которой нас Сергеевич просто фотографирует?
Yeah. Yeah. I came here last time. This is pretty cool.
А где Сергей Юрьевич? На меня, пожалуйста.
Поднимаем?
Итак, дорогие друзья, флаг экспедиции поднимаем.
Ветра нет.
Есть, легко будет. Вот, видите?
Я просто был поцеловой,
я что-то думаю, снимать или не снимать, нету, но так.
NASA Chief Astronaut Chris Cassidy. Chris, you're back at Baikonur, an important launch coming up. After a 2-month delay, it's finally time to fly. How difficult has the last 2 months been on the crew, and how challenging will their 5-month mission be on the International Space Station?
Well, in one aspect, late launch delays are sort of a pain, but in another aspect, they're a blessing. You get to a point where all the training's behind you. You can kind of take a minute and relax a little bit, soak it all in, see what's happening with your family, and that's, I think, the point they're at now. But collectively, as a group, the crew has been paying attention to the team of folks at NASA that's been working very closely with our colleagues here in Russia to make sure that this vehicle is ready to go. And we're at that place now.
Kjell Lindgren has been training a long time for this mission. What do he and his crew bring to the table that will enable them to execute expeditions 44 and 45 successfully?
Well, all crews pretty much the same thing. We go through the same training and ensure that they're ready. And these guys are no different. They'll get to the space station and hit the ground running. They've got visiting vehicles coming up, potential spacewalks. Science is ongoing every single day, and all of that just gets thrown into the schedule grinder and pops out onto their daily plan, and they just march down that timeline and execute.
Bill Gerstenmaier, NASA's Associate Administrator for Human Exploration Operations. Bill, it's been a bit of a challenge to get to this point, but Soyuz is ready to roll. How difficult have the last couple of months been, your reviews, and how confident are you of a successful launch?
Yeah, we spent a long time looking at all the data and working with our Russian partners to understand what happened with the progress, to make sure that we didn't see anything from the progress that would cause any question about what we're about ready to go do here with the Soyuz. And you know, it seems easy sometimes on the outside, but the details behind the work we did, the amount of discussions we had back and forth were really, really thorough, and we're ready to go. So again, it's a tribute to the team. It's a tribute to really the diligence and the attention to detail that each one of us pays, because we know how precious the cargo is, the crew that's going to fly on this vehicle. We know how important it is. It's our job to make sure we've absolutely thought of everything, we've looked at everything we can, and we're really ready to go fly. So it wasn't easy, but it's nice to see the rocket here and it's ready to go fly.
And now, with this crew ready to embark, how complex will the next 5 months be to make up for lost time?
Yeah, it'll be exciting getting the crew back on orbit and getting back up to 6 crew. There's a lot of research waiting for them. There's lots of activities that need to be done. It'll be a pretty busy period coming up. So again, I'm looking forward to the research. I'm looking forward to what's happening on station.
Mike Seferdini, the ISS program manager. Mike, it's been a challenging road for the program over the past few months. A couple of body blows to the program, but the resiliency is shown here. Ready to launch. What are your thoughts now, and how is the status of the program heading into this vehicle's launch?
Well, you know, as a program manager, we always assumed we'd occasionally lose logistics vehicles, and we've sort of planned for that. And so we keep the logistics on board to be ready. We didn't, of course, plan to have as many as we have had in an 8-month period. But, you know, it's a real tribute to the team. We talk a lot about the crews, very talented crews that are on orbit, the ones about to fly. But there's an amazing team behind them that have been considering all these alternatives. And so not only have we kept plenty of consumables on orbit to keep the crew healthy, we've also had quite a bit of research pre-positioned as well. And so during this period, we've been able to keep the crew busy doing important research, and of course keeping the right food and supplies available, keep the systems going, keep them well fed and doing well. So it's a tribute to the team that they've been able to do this.
And working with our Russian colleagues to extract an answer that makes you feel comfortable about launching this vehicle, how has that process evolved?
Well, you know, it's an interesting dynamic because much like in the United States, we have proprietary rights of systems and export control issues that you have to be concerned about. But our Russian colleagues were great. They managed to provide us enough information as they were going through this assessment to help us come along with them and understand that the anomaly that occurred was related to the different booster that they were using. And so the Soyuz on the Soyuz spacecraft on the Soyuz FG is a system that's tried and true. And based on our assessment of their information, we're very comfortable with this flight coming up.
Nearing the halfway point of Scott Kelly and Mikhail Kornienko's one-year flight aboard the station, what does this crew, the crew about to be launched, bring to the table that will carry this expedition and the next one through the end of the year?
Well, that's an awesome question, because what they bring really is themselves. So that's 3 more people showing up, new energy, new ideas, new things. I think it energizes the crew. It helps them kind of feel like they're taking their next step. And also it shows them the way they're getting a little bit closer to coming home. So these guys are great guys. All 3 of them fixed to launch, Oleg and Kimya and of course Chell. And Scott and Misha and Gennady all know them very well. So they got new friends coming on board. It's just like you, when you have friends over, it kind of re-energizes you. So I think that's going to play an important role. Of course, these guys will get up there and get going, but and I think that'll also add a certain amount of energy. And I'm sure in their mind they have this stepwise approach to, you know, I get to orbit, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Of course, this crew arriving was a step, and I'm sure it's kind of processing in their head that, you know, it's taken me just that much further along the way. Of course, those guys are doing great on orbit too. Scott and Misha are doing fantastic. So I don't know that they need extra energy, but they'll get that with this crew coming on.